All right. So I'm gabbing on the phone and I'm like, I better go because I have a class. And I look and I'm like, shoot, it started 3 minutes ago. Sorry, sorry, sorry. All right. Let's see who is here. Nancy, how are you? What's going on with you? I don't think that we've talked in a week or so I hope you're doing well. Pat, good morning. Yeah, happy June. It's June already. Really? And it feels, oh my gosh, I feel like all of a sudden it got hot, which I do not like heat. Maybe that's why I'm so aware of it because I don't really like it. Got to put on my stop clock. So, all right, who else is here? Is it just you two girls? Well, hello. Anything you girls want to focus on? Anything that's bothering you, share it with me so that I have some direction on how to guide you or what to guide you in. So let me know. Nancy or Pat, anything? So I know you two well, relatively well. Back like always. How can we get that to not be the case, Nancy? That's my thing. You know, that was one thing I was thinking of recently, that for those that have chronic issues, and back being one of them. So low back. We've got 2 low backs in the house. All right. Well, let me think about that. Let me get some stuff. Now, if we were in person, then let me see. If we were in person at the hospital, I would be using more props today. So I would be able to use a bolster. And I'm almost tempted to use one so that I could show you what it is I would do and then see if I know some of you may have a bolster, but also getting a rolled up blanket or a rolled up pillow may be something to do instead. So, and not that you have to have one, but there are some things to do that are good. So maybe, I know you have a bolster, Nancy. I don't know if Pat does. Pat, do you have a bolster? I know Nancy has one. Here's what I mean. This. So maybe we could do a rolled up blanket or something. So I'm going to try that, okay? I'm going to try some things today because I don't want it to be that the answer is always low back as usual, right? I don't want that to be the case for you guys. So let's try something. Okay. I'm going back there, so I'm not going to be able to see what you say anymore. Sorry. You tell me afterwards, but let me go into my reservoir of what can we do? What can I do? How can I help you? All right. So today my mind is going to the low back. It is going to what can we do to support the low back, to stretch the low back, and to focus on either strengthening or stretching the low back. So that's what today's practice is going to be about. And so for today's practice, I will use a couple of different things. And then one of them is a bolster. And I know that not everybody's going to have access to a bolster. The thing about this bolster is the size of the bolster and also the firmness of the bolster. So having pillows that are firm, something maybe from a sofa versus from a bed, maybe a more firm type pillow, a block, a strap, and then at least one blanket. And if you don't have a bolster, maybe having another blanket or a towel would be good, because sometimes folding blankets can actually be like a bolster, right? So the size of this, I mean, if you look at that, I mean, I know of course it's a little bit higher, but this is actually pretty firm compared to this. So some of what I would like to do today, especially when it comes to stretching and creating more space in the body, you could use 2 folded blankets or you could use a bolster. So gather whatever it is you need to make these shapes, these props, so that we could use them for your body and for your back. Okay, so we're going to begin. And before we begin, something I'd like to say about the low back is that part of low back health is going to be what you do when it comes to stretching. So part of it is going to be creating space or to stretch and to free up the pull of the low back. So we're going to try to create more space and free up wherever the pull is. And then the other thing is going to be the core and what really supports the low back, which is the core and the core muscles. So we're going to focus on all of that today, getting ourselves nice and strong and limber and all of that, and focusing on our core to help support our back. One time I heard that the core is the front of the back. And I like to think about that the core is the front of the back. So thinking of the core as your back as well, thinking of this whole part of you as this stabilizing structural aspect of you. So we're going to come down on the ground, and I'd like us to relax the back right off the bat. So either doing your legs up the wall, if you have a wall, putting a bolster underneath your knees, or putting your legs on a chair is one of the quickest and best ways to really settle the low back, to allow the leg bones to sit really nice and deep in the hips, and to allow the pelvis to be free. That is a really important aspect of taking care of your back. All right, so let's do this. So I'm going to begin today's practice with my legs up the wall, and I'm actually also going to put something underneath my pelvis. I have a bolster. It's going to be a bolster. For you, it may be a folded blanket that will be like a bolster. So whatever it is, make sure you get this before you come down. I'm going to put my blanket here because this is where my head is going to go, and I don't need this other blanket for now or my other props. I'll put them off to the side to create a little space for myself. And I'm going to come down onto the ground and put my legs up the wall. So to come up the wall, let me give you a little bit of a description because this can be really nice and I'd like to help you get there. Now, when you do get down on the ground, it's not about how close is your tushy to the wall. Your tushy should not touch the wall unless you're super, super limber in your hamstrings, which most people, like generally speaking, that's not the case. But you do not want to be too far away from the wall. And it's really going to be dependent on the flexibility that you have in your hamstrings. So coming against a wall or even legs up the chair can be really nice for relaxing the low back. So you're going to bring yourself close to the wall. And I like to tip my tushy. So my tushy cheek is touching the wall here. And then when you come down onto the ground, so coming down onto the ground, keeping the front of your spine nice and long, and then rolling onto your back. And usually the pelvis is pretty close to the wall at this point. So you could come here, feel your way into where you are now, taking the blanket behind your head. I wouldn't put too much blanket behind the head. So don't have the blanket folded a lot. Have it just folded a little bit. And then if you are going to put a bolster or a folded blanket underneath your pelvis, you would bend your feet, press your feet into your wall so you could lift your pelvis off the ground. And this actually, when you do this and you lift or peel your spine away, you're actually bringing the low back into something called flexion, which actually feels really good. So pressing your feet into the wall,
You could do a couple of lift offs. I like to close my eyes to feel what's happening. For my body, that feels great to peel my spine away. That may not be the case for you. It brings your lumbar spine into extension, which is the opposite curve of its home, where it naturally lives. So see what feels appropriate for you. And then if you lift your pelvis up and you bring the bolster and slide it underneath your pelvis, you want your whole pelvis to rest on it. So have the top of the pelvis, the sacrum, and the tailbone on the bolster. And then bring your legs all the way up. And I would say that my tushy is probably about 4 inches from the wall. And then take your arms out to the side, wherever they feel comfortable. And this is called legs up the wall, or the Sanskrit word is Viparita Karini. And there's a lot of benefits of this posture. The only people that this is counterindicated for are those with unmanaged or uncontrolled high blood pressure. So only if you have uncontrolled high blood pressure would you not do this. Close your eyes. Notice what you notice. Begin to breathe to your belly. Feel the pressure of the legs resting in the pelvis, the pressure of the low back on your bolster or your blanket. Be in your body, make sure everything feels appropriate. Keep your mouth closed, let your back teeth be separated. Neck is long. Breathing in and out through your nose. Bring your awareness to your lower ribs. This is where your primary breathing muscle is, your diaphragm. Breathe to your lower ribs. Feel your belly fill with breath and pressure. Breathe so that your belly rises straight up towards the sky. And then breathe in and breathe to the low back and to the sacrum and the tailbone that's in the pelvis. So to the low back and the back of your pelvis. Breathe in and back. Feel the breath going there. Visualize and follow the breath coming in, going down towards the belly, and then towards your low back and the back of your pelvis, all the way down to your tailbone. Now bring your awareness to your breath as you breathe in. Breathe to the left lower side of your body, the left back, the left side, or even down to the side of your hip joint, and the left side of the low back and the low pelvis. See what you could feel when you breathe. Breathe to the left lower side of your body. Now breathe to the right side, the right lower belly, side body, all the way to the right side hip, and the right low back and pelvic area. And see if you could feel that half of your body as you breathe in and down. Now breathing in equally. Lower ribs, low belly, sides of the body, low back, and the whole back pelvis. Let your awareness go to your breath as if you could see your lower belly, lower body filling up, feeling it, sensing it, seeing it, and visualizing it. Take 3 more breaths like this. Try to stay with these last 3 breaths without getting distracted. Focusing on the breath, feeling the breath, visualizing the breath. To the lower body. Bring your awareness to your legs. Let your legs be very heavy. See if you could feel the left leg sinking as deep and being as light and limp as it can be, so that there's no muscular action whatsoever. Same thing now with the right leg. Let it go, let it be heavy. See if you could feel it relaxing, releasing, letting go. Bring your awareness to your fingers and your toes as you move your fingers and move your toes. You can keep your eyes closed so you can feel your way into these movements. Make sure the blanket is only underneath your head and neck. Let's take the arms, bring the arms out to the side, palms are up. Raise the arms as high as you can so that you actually feel some kind of stretch in the chest, in the shoulder area, and maybe even moving the arms away from your body will give you more of a sensation of stretch. So the upper body could be stretching a little here, pressing the heart up towards the sky, the shoulder blades into the ground, and then relax the upper body. Bring the leg one away from the wall, bring the right leg away from the wall. Shake the leg, let the leg sit in the hip joint. Point the right foot, take a big inhale, and then exhale, flex the foot strongly. Point the foot on the inhale, toes are up towards the sky, feel the stretch, the front of the foot, exhale, center of the heel presses up towards the sky. Feel that all the way down to your pelvis. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. Last one, inhale, point, exhale, flex. Keep your sole of your foot pointing up towards the sky. Take an exhale. Inhale, let the toes move towards the side. The kneecap moves towards the side. That was your inhale. Exhale, bring the toe over towards the left, turning your foot as strongly in an internal extension or internal movement as you can. Inhale, external rotation in the hip joint, toes to the side. Exhale, internal rotation in the hip joint, toe moves to the left. This is the right foot. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. See if you could feel this in your hip. This is literally a hip joint movement. The ball of the hip is rolling around in the hip joint through internal, external rotation. See if you could feel the muscles that do that action. Bring yourself back to center. Point the toe up towards the sky. Move the toe over towards the right. Point the toe away from you towards the wall and then to the left. Start to move your ankle in a circular rotation. Keep the leg stationary. Keep the kneecap pointing back behind you. And try to articulate that ankle as much as you can. See if you can feel a stretch in the feet, in the toes, in the ankle, in the legs. Go in the other direction. One more. And then bring that foot back to the wall to rest. Let go, let your legs be heavy. Feel the relaxation of the pelvis, the low back, the hips. And then bring the left foot away from the wall. You're going to inhale to point, strongly feel the stretch in the front of the foot. Exhale, strongly push the center of the heel up towards the sky. Inhale to stretch. Exhale, flex. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, point. Exhale to flex. One more. Inhale strongly to point. Exhale strongly to flex. Feel that all the way down the back of the leg, maybe to the glutes. And then relax. Toes are pointing behind you. Sole of the foot is up towards the sky. Inhale, move the left toes to the left. Exhale, point the toes over to the right. Inhale left. Exhale right. Internal and external hip joint movement. Kneecap is moving side to side. Femur bone is moving in the hip joint. Bring yourself back to center. We're going to do slow circles. Point the foot to the right, away from you, to the left, and towards you. Turn that into a slow circular movement. Keep your kneecap stationary. Let this be the ankle and the foot that moves. Stretching the ankle, the feet, the toes. And then go in the other direction. And last one. Let your foot rest on the wall. Let go. Let the legs sink into the sockets. Let's come into a fully extended leg position. So you could slide your legs on the wall or open them up. If you're in a chair, you could use your hands on the side of the legs to hold the legs up. Letting your legs spread wide, stretching the adductors, the inner thigh muscles, which attach onto the pelvis, and they can have an effect on the low back, the hips, and the knee joints. And when we're up against the wall, it's a little bit easier to stretch this part of the body because we have the wall to push into, so we feel a little more safe when we stretch the adductor muscles. Really important muscle group for the joints of the hips, the knees, and the low back. Keeping the joints mobile, moist, and spacious is a really great way to keep ourselves out of pain and discomfort. Take one more breath, and then bringing your legs back up. Let your legs relax, let go. If you have something underneath your pelvis, a blanket or a bolster, bend your knees, press your knees into the wall, and take the bolster out to the side. Let your back go down on the ground. Unbend your knees again. And then go ahead and bend the knees. Draw the knees in. Hold on to the knees. Pull the knees close to the body so the low back gets flattened towards the ground. Rocking side to side. And then move on to your side. Take your hand on the ground. You're going to push yourself up
and away from the ground. Come to sit in whatever way feels okay for you to sit after that long time in legs up the wall. Let your body calibrate, let things settle. And then clear your space. Bring everything off the side. All right, let's come onto all fours. So bring your blanket onto the mat. Come onto all fours. Take your hands pretty wide and pretty forward and moving a little bit back and forth. When you do come back, see if you could try to lead with the tailbone, which is right here on the top of the pelvis. So when this moves back, you want it to move back and down a little bit so that we actually tilt the pelvis. We actually do a little tilting of the pelvis. And this tilting of the pelvis helps to stretch the low back. So when we do move back, the hands are forward. When you move back, you try to lengthen your low back. So the lower ribs come towards the spine. Contract your core a little, push your belly button towards your spine. Move your tailbone away from you. See if you could feel a stretch in the low back. Keep your head lifted. You exhale to go back, contract your core, push your belly button towards your spine. And then one more. And then bring yourself up. Come onto all fours so that the hands are underneath your shoulders. Flip your toes under and move your heels back. Feel a stretch on the whole back leg. Being here, weight bearing in your shoulders and your hips like this, we're strengthening the arms, the wrists, the shoulders, the upper body, strengthening the hip of the standing leg. So even if this doesn't seem like it's a whole heck of a lot, there's a lot you're doing for strengthening your joints. Flip your back toes under, moving through that center heel. All movement is good. Even if it feels pretty mellow, there's a lot of deep strengthening that takes place in our joints when we load up our joints, stretch them, move them. And bring yourself all the way up and all the way out. So let's do some movement to actually stretch this part of the body. So whether it's the hips and the pelvis or this whole midsection of the body. So we'll do a seated warm up and movement sequence. So you're gonna sit on a bolster if you have a bolster, or a folded up blanket if you have a folded up blanket. So I like to open one blanket on the ground and then get my bolster at the back of the blanket so that my ankles have somewhere to be supported and I'm supported on my bolster. And sitting on a bolster is really nice for tension that's in the hips and the low back area. So see what feels appropriate to you. If you'd like to reach down and grab a hunk of flesh and move a hunk of flesh back, moving the hunk of flesh, mostly muscles. Moving the muscles back just helps us to sit nice and erect in our body. So taking your hands on your thighs, we're going to do a circular pattern, making sure to keep the integrity of the spine nice and long, not collapsing in the front of the chest, not closing off the front of the spine, but rather being nice and tall here. You're going to take an inhale to lengthen, bring yourself forward, and then bring yourself back. Feel this, go forward and back. See if you could tell what's happening, all of that protection of your body, the muscles that have to activate when you come forward, and the muscles that activate when you go back. When you come forward, see if you feel the back of your hips stretching. And when you go back, notice how the hands have to hold a little bit more, and maybe you even feel those deep core muscles activate to make sure you don't fall backwards. And then bring yourself back to center. Go side to side. Go slow, because I want you to feel all the stuff that turns on to protect you. And when you do, you'll realize that this is why our low back gets so aggravated, because there's so much protection in the body. Side to side. And then bring yourself back to center. So we're going to start in the very center of ourselves, doing a circular pattern. You're going to go slow in one direction, slow circles, slow circles. Getting a little bit bigger in that movement. Slowing down, inhale forward, exhale back. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Close your eyes. Use your hands on your thighs to explore the range of motion in your body. And then take one more breath. Bring yourself back to center. Get nice and tall. Exhale. And then you're going to go in the other direction. Small circles. Small circles. This helps to establish a length in your spine when you do this. Also helps to get you to feel, can you roll around in your joints, or do you have some dysfunctional patterns or nooks and crannies? Inhale to come forward. Exhale to go back. Go a little slower now. Inhale forward, close your eyes. Exhale back. Inhale when you come forward. Last one. Exhale back. Bring yourself back to center. Let's take the legs straight. Shake, shake, shake your legs. Bring the soles of the feet together in Baddha Konasana. If you are in a bolster, sit near the front edge. That'll help you sit a little more upright. Let's take the hands here on the thighs. You're going to inhale into a back bend. So you open up your throat, you open up your chest, and then you're going to exhale, contract your core, push your belly button back towards your spine, roll towards the tailbone. Inhale to rock forward, exhale back. Inhale forward. Feel yourself really rocking in the pelvic area. So you are going through anterior and posterior tilting, which is core. Your core is actually activating to rock your pelvis. Draw the pubis bone up towards the low ribs and the low ribs back towards the spine to really activate the core muscles, to mobilize the pelvis using those core muscles. Activate, lift the pubic bone up towards the belly button and the low ribs back towards the spine. On the exhale, inhale, lengthen, exhale, contract. One more. And then bring yourself all the way back up. Keep the legs here. Let's go laterally side to side. Do what feels appropriate for you. Maybe the elbows would feel a little bit better for you. Keep your throat open, keep your gaze up. Feel that stretch in the side of the body. Next time you come to this side, stay here, really reach. Bend your elbow of your arm that's on the ground so you're not putting too much body weight. You're pushing away from the ground, lengthening your spine. Reach, reach, reach. And then inhale with length through center, come to the other side. Stretch, stretch, stretch. One more. And then go ahead and bring yourself back up. Let's do a little bit of rotation. Take the hand on the leg, the other hand on the bolster on the ground. Get tall in your spine and then rotate lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs over in this direction. Lift your heart. Breathe down to your tailbone, to your low belly, to your pelvis. And then bring yourself back with a long spine through center. It matters the way you move. And when we do these stretches, right now we're doing rotation, stretching the spine, stretching low back muscles, stretching core muscles. Really matters, and especially if you do have issues in these areas. Push your hand into the bolster, hold on, nice long spine. Low ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs are rotating to the side. Feel the stretch wherever you feel it in your body. Heart lifted. Breathe down to your belly. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out and around. Take your legs straight. Shake, shake, shake. Let's take this leg on this side. Bend the leg. Take your opposite arm here onto this leg. And when you do that, make sure you're not collapsed in your shoulders. So you push in to open up your chest to face that direction. Bring this other hand in front of you. Look at your thumb. Reach long so you feel a stretch all the way down the back, maybe even the shoulder blade area. Exhale. Inhale. Reach your hand up away from you and open to the side. And then exhale to come back. So you should feel a pretty big stretch here. You're moving your rib cage and your upper body away from the pelvis. You're inhaling, reaching your hands away and up, following your gaze so your eyes stay exactly in alignment with your thumb. Your hand doesn't go farther back to the side than your eyes can follow. And your head doesn't go farther than your eyes can follow the thumb. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more. Inhale, stay there. Stay here. Reach your hands long, belly button to spine, tailbone towards your seat, wherever you're sitting, whatever you're sitting on. Take one more breath. And then bend your hand, bring your hand behind your head. Exhale to come forward. Inhale to open. Exhale. Inhale. One more. Exhale. Inhale. Stay here. Bring your hand so that your hand that's on your leg is right by your knee. You're nice and tall. Push your heart forward. Breathe down to your belly. And then bring yourself out. Shake your arm. So we're doing a lot of stretching of the chest, of the back, of the spine, making sure you're nice and supported. Your pelvis is resting, using your belly to push back towards your belly button to help protect you. we're actually doing flexion, extension, and rotation of the spine. So making sure that you stay safe in this low back and really checking in often, because if you have low back issues, quite often there's a subconscious or an invisible aspect of your low back trying to protect you all the time. And wherever we place this upper part of our body has to be managed by the middle part of our body. And in particular, our low back takes the brunt of that. So we're moving, stretching the upper part of the body and getting, first of all, creating space, but also being very aware of this part of our body is protecting that. So take your foot, bend your foot onto your inner thigh. Take your other hand, bring your other hand wherever it's appropriate for you. It might be down at the calf, or it might be a little bit higher by the inner knee or by the upper thigh. So do what's appropriate for you. Bring your other hand in front of you, and when you do this, try to lengthen that arm away from you. Your gaze is fixed on your thumb, and your head follows your thumb when you move. Take an exhale. Inhale to open. You're reaching away from you, up high, and back behind you. Exhale to come down. So reaching your hand away and up on your inhale. See if you could feel that low down in your belly, below your ribs, stretching obliques. So stretching core muscles, stretching low back muscles. Try to be as tall as you could be in your torso here. Your ribs are as far away from the pelvis as they can be, not collapsing down on the pelvis. Inhale to open, exhale to close. Inhale. Exhale, last one. Inhale to open and hold. Stay here. Reach long with your fingers. Breathe down to your belly. Heart lifted. Press your heart forward. Lift your spine. Inhale. And then exhale, bring your hand behind your head, elbow out to the side. Inhale. And then exhale, hand comes forward. Inhale to open, reaching your elbow to the side and up. Lengthen your body. Exhale. Inhale. Let that shoulder blade glide onto the upper spine to help to add safe rotation to the thoracic spine. Last one. Inhale to open. Stay here. Slide your hand up a little higher so it's by the inner knee joint or upper thigh. Nice tall spine, heart lifted. Breathe down to your belly. One more. And then bring yourself out. So if you're doing this correctly with a lot of lift and a lot of awareness, you're going to feel a lot of work. I felt a lot of stretch diagonally in my body when I did that. When I came out of those both times, I felt the shoulder work in moving my arm there. So strengthening the shoulder muscles, the shoulder joints, all things that are really important for us in our bodies. Okay, let's come on to, let's take our legs wide here and this position where we're actually elevated. Come here forward, take your hands onto the floor, push away from the floor, and this is weight bearing. So this is weight bearing stretching of the legs. See where this shows up for you. For a lot of people, the back of the thighs show up here, and then for others, it may be the inner thighs. So just notice for you, where does this show up for you? Where do you experience tightness, or do you experience tightness here? Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself out. Let's come on to our back. So take the bolster and move the bolster off to the side for now. And then let's get our blanket set up properly. So bring your blanket up to the top of your mat. You're going to need your block and your strap. So move your other props off. Bringing yourself onto your tushy. Bring yourself all the way down, reaching with your hand, coming down onto your mat. Blanket underneath your head. Let's take one hand, bring one knee up, hold on to the top of the knee, hold on with the hand. Take your other hand, draw the other knee up and come up to the top. So hold on to your knees here. And then see if you could really be your hands that are holding on. So let's take the hands and move the knees around in circular patterns, holding the kneecaps. The hands are actually doing the work here in one direction and then in the other direction. Arms are long. Take an inhale. Exhale, draw your knees straight towards your chest. Let the low back press into the ground. Inhale to straighten your arms. Exhale, knees into the chest. Inhale to straighten your arms. In yoga therapy, this is one of the main postures that is used for the back, for the low back, for relaxing the body, relaxing the mind. Inhaling straight, exhaling, bringing the knees in. Inhaling, you're straightening the arms. Exhale, draw the knees in. Keep the knees in. Hold on around the side and rock side to side. Take your feet on the ground. Take your arms to the side. Walk your feet off your mat and walk your feet away from you. Take an exhale, flatten the low back into the ground. Inhale to release. Close your eyes. As you exhale, contract your core. You either can imagine zippering up a tight pair of jeans all the way up to your low ribs, or you could visualize slowly squeezing a big orange that's in your center of your body that you're trying to squeeze all the juice out of. So whatever visual works the best for you, eyes are closed. Feel yourself rocking to the tailbone. And then as you contract your core, feel yourself tilting your pelvis, low back flattens into the ground. Notice what happens to the rest of your spine. You exhale to contract, flattening the low back. You inhale to release. Exhale, contract. Inhale to release. Last one, exhale to contract, flatten the low back. Stay here, low back is flat. Squeeze your core, activate your core. Zipper, zipper, zipper from the bottom or squeeze. Everything moves to the center, squeezing like crazy, flattening the low back like crazy. And then release. Eyes are closed. Feel how you rock towards your sacrum and your tailbone. Low back goes into its natural curve of extension. Naturally in a curve of extension. Let's take an inhale. Slowly let your knees go to one side. Kneecaps move a lot. Leg bones move a lot. Legs are moving away from your body and to the side. As you exhale, contract your core to bring your legs back up and try to flatten the low back into the ground when you do this. Inhaling, slowly release, let your legs go away from your body and to the side. Exhale, contract, flattening the low back into the ground. Contract, contract, contract. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to contract.
Inhale, exhale. Go slow here. Close your eyes. Feel what's happening in your body. You're lengthening your low back, lengthening your hips, lengthening your core. The next time your body comes over to the left, let it stay there. The legs are in the left. The head turns to the right, and the right arm reaches long and away from you. So you feel a stretch on the right side of your body. Try to pull those low ribs away from the pelvis. Breathe down to your right side. One more breath. And then bring yourself back up. Let's go to the other side. Let the legs go over to the right. Head goes to the left. Reach the left hand off the ground and stretch your left side. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back to center. Bring your feet all the way back, knees into chest, rocking side to side. Bring your feet onto the ground. Bring your block in between your legs. Block in between the legs. We're going to do spinal undulation using the core. The core is the front to the back. We want the core muscles to be strong. So the very base of your core, your pelvic floor, you're going to visualize holding on to a strand of pearls and drawing up, 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 up towards the lower ribs, and then release. Hands are down alongside the body. Draw the pearls in and up, up, up. See if you could flatten the low back as you activate the pelvic floor and then the core. Inhale to release. Exhale to contract and lift. Inhale to release. Activate pelvic floor, core, and then release. Take your hands behind your head, squeeze your block, inhale. As you exhale, pelvic floor, flatten the low back, press the low back into the ground and the middle spine into the ground. Inhale to release. Exhale, there should be a rocking and a tilting of your pelvis here. Squeeze the block, tilt your pelvis. Inhale to release. Exhale, squeeze the block, flatten the low back, pelvic floor, core. On this next one, you're going to exhale, contract your core, your pelvic floor, lift your upper body up. Exhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Squeeze the block. Exhale, contract the core. Flatten the low back. Lift the upper body off the ground. Exhale to lift, to activate. Inhale to lower. Last one, exhale, bring yourself up, squeeze, flatten the low back. Really flatten the low back. Feel the top edge of the pelvis pressing in to the ground. And then inhale to release. Take the block out to the side. Bring the legs up off the ground. So we're going to do a little bit of core here, where we bring a foot down onto the ground. The closer it gets to the ground, the more work it is. The farther away it goes from your body, the more work it is. So you decide what's appropriate for you. You need to contract your core, not let your pelvis be rocking all over the place. So contracting the core and pressing the low back towards the ground is going to help to support your back body when you move your legs. So bring your legs up and tap them down. See if that feels appropriate to your low back, really contracting your core when you do that. If you want to see moving them away from your body a little bit, making sure the pelvis doesn't move, making sure the belly doesn't pop up when you do that. So really contract, touching the feet away, whatever's appropriate for you. Contract your core and touch your feet away from you, whatever's appropriate. Stabilizing your pelvis, activate your core, your pelvic floor, and then push your lower ribs towards your spine. Farther away you go, the harder it is. And then bring yourself back. So challenging yourself in whatever's appropriate for you, making sure that you stabilize here. Let's take the block between the legs. You're going to take the right leg in the air, take the right hand behind the right head, the right hand behind the right head. Take the right hand behind your head, squeeze the block, right leg is in the air. Take your left hand on your thigh, inhale. As you exhale, contract your core, flatten your low back, slide your left hand up to the kneecap, and then diagonally move the right elbow over towards the left knee. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Exhale, rise. Inhale to lower. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. The next time you come up, stay up. Stay up and pulse. Squeeze the block, active right foot. Lower ribs are pressing towards the spine. Left low back is pressing into the ground. And then inhale to lower, take a break. Let's bring the left leg in the air, flex the foot, take the hand, left hand behind the head, right hand on top of the right thigh, take an exhale. Inhale. As you exhale, lift yourself up, slide the right hand up to the right knee, and then diagonally, left elbow over towards the right knee. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Inhale, lower. Last one. Exhale, contract, rise, stay here, flatten the right low back to the ground, right low ribs towards the spine, pulses. And then inhale to lower. Take the block out, bring the knees in, rocking side to side. Let's take the strap. So I love the strap for stretching the back of the thighs. Back of the thighs are connected to the pelvis, and tight hamstrings can be a contributing factor of low back issues. So if you do have tight hamstrings, stretch your hamstrings daily to keep them limber and to not let them aggravate the low back. Draw the knee in, any foot Take the strap on the foot, keep the other knee bent, hold on to your strap, and then guide the leg back towards the wall behind you so you feel a stretch in the upper thigh. Keep the strap on the center of your foot and try to flex your foot so the sole is pointing up towards the sky. Draw the knee back towards the wall behind you. Take a breath. And then release. Let's do the same thing with the other foot. So bring the other foot up into the sky. Other foot goes onto the ground, holding onto the strap. You're going to draw the leg towards the wall behind you. So you push the leg away with the top thigh muscles, keeping your spine and your waist nice and long. And then you pull the leg back towards the wall behind you. Feeling that sensation behind your leg, stretching the back of the body, the hamstrings, taking away some tension there in case that's pulling on your pelvis. And then bring yourself back up to center. Let's take both legs in the air. Spread your legs wide. Legs are in the strap. And then bend the knees deeply towards your armpits. Soles of the feet are up towards the sky. This is happy baby. Push your pinky toe edges into the sides of the strap. You could rock side to side a little if you want here, stretching the low back, stretching the glutes. And then bring one hand on the back of the thigh and the other hand on the back of the thigh. Pull the upper leg bones a little closer. Feel the low back flattening into the ground. Take one more breath. Take your strap off. Let your legs be in the air. Let your legs settle. Let your arms settle. And then knees to chest. So we're going to come into the Shavasana, allow the integration of everything we just did. Up to you how you want to end. If you'd like to put your legs in the chair, legs at the wall, that could be a really nice way to settle the low back. I think I will do legs up the wall again. Since I began like that, I'm going to end like that. So get yourself ready to do whatever it is you'd like to do for your last posture of the day, Shavasana. mukande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam, dinnameya kame, gobinde mukande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam, dinnameya kame, gobinde mukande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam, dinnameya kame, gobinde mukande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam, dinnameya kame. Gently begin to deepen your breath, moving your fingers and your toes. If you have a bolster underneath your body, move it out to the side. Bring your knees into your chest and roll onto your side. Pushing yourself up.
Closing the practice with sound. Bringing yourself into a position with a nice upright and erect spine. Take your hands together. Thumbs are at the sternum bone. Press the heart to the hands to the heart. Nice, long, tall body. We're going to close with a humming, buzzing, humming sound. Let's take an exhale, inhale. Bowing to each other in namaste. All right. So some stretching, some core. I feel my core right now, so hoping that you feel yours too. So let me know how you feel. Pat and Nancy. Don't know what's happening to our Wednesday class. This Yoga for Wellness is the first class I ever taught for Torrance Memorial. And I've been teaching it for over 8 years. Nancy, you've been with me that entire time, which is crazy, since 2014. So amazing. So anyway, ladies, want to hear how you're feeling. If you can let me know. And if not, you could email me. You'd like an egg. I do have egg blocks, Pat. If you want to contact me, we could meet somewhere and I could get you one, or you could order one online. Good. I hope it does feel good. So I hope you guys find some relief today. And thank you for practicing with me. I will see you later. Bye.